This is the final day of Black History Month. Did you know this? February 28th. Feel sorry for the people that have birthday on February 29th. This morning, we have a story about unity. The Black and Jewish communities in America worked closely together for decades in the fight for civil rights, and then they drew apart. Since then, despite moments of collaboration, the relationship, you could say, remains quite complex. Now, there is a growing effort in Detroit to bring these groups closer together. So Adriana Diaz went to the Motor City to meet two friends who saw a gap in understanding as an opportunity to build a bridge across their cultures.
For longtime friends Brandon Colvin and Jacob Smith, it's always a good time for game time.
Who's got better game?
Oh.
Brandon's 4 years older than me, so.
Here's what I'll say about that. I don't like to play directly against Jacob because he got a little bit too much energy. So when we're on the same team, it works well.
Together, they work really well. For 5 years, they've collaborated on sold-out dinners that bring together the Black and Jewish communities to promote one thing.
Trust. When you have those organic social collisions, so to speak, I look at you a little differently. I have a greater capacity to empathize.
Smith is Jewish and from Detroit suburbs. Colvin grew up Christian in Montgomery, Alabama.
On the next plane, say peace to the earthman.
They met more than a decade ago in Detroit's startup scene and bonded over a love of music.
Wonder why I'm feeling guilty when my people say the chosen.
Including this song they recorded together.
Underfoot, this feeling feels foreign.
And a love of their communities.
Brandon started bringing me into spaces, predominantly Black spaces. There's kind of a standoffishness that you can sometimes feel as a white person coming into the city, just being honest, in my experience. And what Brandon allowed for me was to step into certain spaces and had just the most incredible experiences.
Jacob has been a gateway and a doorway into Jewish culture that I had never experienced. I've been to Passover. I didn't realize that I could have this type of brotherhood across another culture until I met Jacob.
I think he liked that.
We met at a 100-year-old former synagogue turned Black church.
So this building is the intersection between Detroit's Jewish community and Black community, right?
Absolutely.
Its history mirrors the city's story. After many Black Americans moved north to Detroit during the Great Migration of the 20th century, discriminatory housing laws led to overcrowding. Many white residents, including white Jews, were able to move to the suburbs, perpetuating a segregation that persists today.
Even though our cultures are different in a lot of ways, we both have a history that involves oppression.
For Jewish people, there's kind of this unique balance of, in today's day and age, being perceived with white skin. I can tuck in my Star of David necklace to go into a job interview, while at the same time having a very real lived experience with rising anti-Semitism.
He can tuck in his Star of David. I obviously am Black everywhere I go. But what I think I really appreciate is that we see people who are able to take advantage of certain privileges, ensure that they are leveraging those privileges for the benefit of other people.
The communities famously joined forces during parts of the civil rights movement. But in recent years, the relationship between the groups has been in the spotlight for a different reason.
Kyrie Irving finally apologized for his social media post promoting an anti-Semitic movie.
I could say anti-Semitic things and Adidas can't drop me.
Adidas did drop Kanye West after that remark.
When we have these divisive comments that get made, I think they're really missing the space to sort of reach over the aisle, to join hands, and sort of be together and on the same page.
Hey, can everybody hear me okay?
Colvin and Smith held their latest cross-cultural dinner, what they called the Coalition Series, at the Detroit Historical Museum. a Shabbat meal catered by a local black chef.
I think we all have something we can learn from each other.
I didn't know that they had similar struggles to what we had.
Shane Sperling has been attending Smith and Colvin's events for years. His mother is white and Jewish, and his father is black.
There's situations where the Jews were not good to black people not good to Jews, but it makes me proud, just as a black Jew, to know that there are people that want to know and want to have a conversation.
There's this horrible stereotype of like comparing oppressions, right? Like, how do you deal with that?
If we get into the sort of oppression Olympics sort of conversation, it's almost a non-starter as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, it's counterproductive. I think the real conversation should be, what can these two communities come up with given their shared understanding of what it is like to achieve in spite of?
Achieving progress together. For CBS Mornings, Adriana Diaz, Detroit.
Thank you, Adriana. I like that. I like that oppression Olympics. You can't say my pain is bigger than your pain, because the pain hurts.
No point in out-suffering each other. It's counterproductive.
No.
I like how he started off. He said we create these organic social collisions.
Yes.
And you know, how often do we do that, you know, in our own lives? Or should we do it more?
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. You know, there's a kind of a simple story about the Jews and the black community with, you know, Martin Luther King marching with rabbis, 3 Jews killed in Mississippi burning case, and you think there's this history of just pure togetherness, but it's taken twists and turns, right? So it's much more complex, and I think Adriana really did a good job getting at that.
Really good job.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
All right.